Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peace and blessings and light be with you in this holy and blessed sacred month of Ramadan, the holy month of fasting, and the holy month of spiritual connection and communion with the divine. May Allah Almighty's divine guidance and grace be with you and with me. This is Ihsan, and this is another Ramadan reminder, a brief little reminder just to help keep us focused on, hopefully, inshallah ta'ala, with God's grace, getting the most benefit and blessings out of this holy month. And in this reminder, I wanted to just remind myself and brothers and sisters out there who are seeking to take the best maximum blessings and benefit from this month to fast internally. The Prophet ﷺ said that there are many who get nothing from their fast except hunger and thirst. There are many who get nothing from their fasting except hunger and thirst, meaning that they're fasting physically, but there's something fundamental missing in which they are not getting the true benefit of fasting. So what is fasting? Like any form of worship and like anything, there's an external dimension and an internal dimension, an outward manifestation and an inward manifestation. And it's the same with fasting as with any form of worship. We must observe it outwardly, externally, physically, but also internally, inwardly, and spiritually. Now, this is a topic that I go into in quite a bit of detail in the Ramadan Success Program, a course that I created to help brothers and sisters, believers from our community get the most benefit from fasting. It's a simple program, a simple course. And for those that are interested, I will include a link below here to that. So outward fasting, we're familiar with. This is abstaining from food and drink and so on during the daylight hours. But what is inward fasting? When we realize that fasting is abstaining from everything that is taking us away from God, everything from the physical world, everything from this world of illusion, this world of veils, the world of form, the world of the self, the dunya and the nafs. That is what we are meant to fast from. Because by transcending the world of form, dunya, and the self, the nafs, we ascend towards the divine presence. We begin to move beyond the veil or the veils that separate our consciousness from the presence of the divine. The greatest veil over the self, over the heart, is the self. Us, me, the identity, the self, the ego. And so just as we fast outwardly, externally, in form from food and drink, we must also learn to fast inwardly from the self. Literally, fasting from the self. Fasting from the mind, fasting from thoughts and thinking, fasting from the ego, fasting from the sense of self and all of its incessant thoughts, opinions, judgments, ideas, concepts, just simply learning to surrender, to become still. Now, the self manifests in many ways, typically through forms of resistance like anger, frustration, and these are the main ones. So one of the most important things we can do is to learn to fast from the negative characteristics and the negative qualities of the self. So what I would recommend is to identify one area of the self, one way of your own personality, your conditioning, your habits, your way of being that tends to manifest. Anger is usually a big one. And to make a commitment to fast from anger or from any other trait that you personally know is a defect of the self. Make a commitment to fast inwardly from negative thoughts, from negative thinking, from negative desires, from negative actions, all of these things that veil us and separate us from the divine presence of Allah. To reach to the divine presence of God, we must become purified of the self. Right? Purified inwardly, the purification of the self. But what is the purification of the self? It is the purification of the self from the self. The self is the veil, and it manifests through resistance in our consciousness. And then that manifests in our actions, in our attitude, in our behavior, in our thoughts, in our feelings. So this Ramadan, inshallah, make a commitment to do your best to focus on the positive, to be grateful, to see the blessings and the ni'mah all around you, the abundance in your life, and to first and foremost fast from the negativity of the self. Focus on the positivity which leads us towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and fast from the negativity of the self, the fear, the stress, the anxiety, the worry, the frustration, the anger. Again, one of the most important things we can learn to do is to become still, to breathe, to relax, to surrender, to let go, to become still, and thus to fast from and to transcend the self. Towards this end, a daily meditative spiritual practice is invaluable to learn how to root and anchor yourself in the presence of the divine, in the present moment, in such a way that you can transcend the self. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you and myself blessings and guidance and wisdom and success in this holy Ramadan to take a step forward in our personal growth and our personal development and our personal spiritual evolution, to take a step forward and to advance on the path to Him. May this Ramadan be better than the last, and may each day be better than the last. May we continue to progress and advance with His grace, with His will, with His mercy, with His light, and with His love. To your divine and eternal success. Fi aman Allah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.